We love hip hop.
Getting back local, the 4 self-defense laws. And big salute to Jordana, because you sent me all this also. You said we might need to talk about this.
Yeah.
Right? But at the time when you sent it to me, it was right after he was talking about the home invasion, where he was like, I'm glad that he shot him.
Yeah.
Right? That was like the headline that went out. And some people got a little offended. Like, I don't know, I guess people on the left, right? Since then, since you sent me about that, he said more shit.
Yes.
Right? He's now saying, okay, at least if you ain't got a gun, get you some pepper spray and that should be okay.
Well, he did that before. So he's petitioning the federal government. He's petitioning the federal government to declassify pepper spray and sort of other similar personal defense as not being weapons. So right now, you know, pepper spray and mace and things of that nature are considered weapons. They're prohibited devices.
Hold up. Thank you. Because we had this conversation the other day of like weapons that you can kind of have on you. And we had a whole joke about pepper spray not being the manly thing to spray or whatever. But like low-key, you're not even allowed to have it. We were wrong.
Yeah.
So that's illegal to have pepper spray?
And pepper spray, mace, bear spray. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Yo, fam.
Might as well just have a strap.
Huh?
Might as well just have a strap.
I mean, it's not going to be anywhere bad.
How much time are you doing?
I do not want to be. I do not want there to be any suggestions that was my legal advice. That is not my legal advice. You're going to get way more time for a gun.
Got Jordana's words.
Like, please.
How much time are you doing for like pepper spray possession?
I mean, it doesn't normally happen on its own, right? And if it is, those guys aren't coming to me. So normally, like if the police are finding mace, they're finding it with drugs, with a gun, with other things. It's in the context of like a different situation.
Yeah.
Or like I had a case way in Coburg where a client was charged with assault with a weapon for using pepper spray or bear mace. I think at that time it was like a bear spray. And so it was part of this larger assault. So, it's normally a part of a case because the reality is like many of us are walking down the street and we have it in our pocket. The police aren't going to know unless they have a reason to find it.
Yeah.
Right. And so the reality is like the police don't know what you have on them unless they're searching you. And normally, again, depending on who, what, where, they're not searching you if you're just walking down the street. But until you get into a bar fight and you pull it out and you use it, and now you're bringing yourself and your mace, your pepper spray to their attention.
Okay, I was about to say, like, let's say you get into an altercation.
Yes.
I believe it's like equal force rules over here, something like that.
So, but that's now you're talking about self-defense, which is a defense, and you're running that at trial. You've now had to hire a lawyer and sit through the process for like 2 years.
So, like, if somebody like attacked me,
right,
and I had pepper spray on me, if I were to use that on my attacker, would they be able to like arrest me because? Like let's say they didn't have anything. They were just like punching me or something, you know?
So again, would they be able to arrest you? Yes, they're definitely able to. It's interesting because in the case we're talking about that Doug Ford commented on, the police decided not to charge a homeowner who was in legal possession for a licensed firearm and used it during a violent home invasion and shot one of the invaders. And then the invader...
Not to interrupt you, what kind of fire? It was a handgun that he had, right?
I don't know if it was a handgun or a long gun, but we know it was a legal firearm.
Okay.
So whatever he had, he was legally allowed to own, and he was legally properly stored it. He was doing everything right. And so these guys broke into his house at like 2:00 in the morning. It was 3 guys who were armed with weapons, and he went to his safe, presumably, pulled out his gun, loaded it, and shot them. And the police in that situation decided not to charge him, which is an anomaly in Ontario. Normally, the police are charging and letting the judge and jury decide at the end of the day.
I was going to say, he was legally allowed to have that gun.
Correct.
You know, we're not legally allowed to have pepper spray.
Pepper spray, yeah. I thought you said gun. I was
okay.
Speak for yourself.
That too, though. Right? Like, even the process, and we'll get to the process in a minute, like, it's not that easy. You know what I'm saying? So, what do you guys' thoughts on the pepper spray thing? Should that be legal?
I think it's a sad state of affairs that our government has to ask, like our provincial government has to ask the federal government to declassify certain weapons in order for us as civilians to just be safe. Like, that's sad. Like, I think about, when I was in my 20s and I was going out to parties and clubs and like I would, meet someone and there'd be another party and I could go with someone. Like, I didn't think twice about meeting new people and going to new places with them. And I didn't get hurt. Like, I didn't have to worry, that we're now in a world in which like men and women can't do that. Like that's a reflection on the greater situation in society. I think, I that's at first blush.
I got to push back a little bit, Jordana, because like back in your time, that was your existence, right?
Right.
But I've gone to many clubs or jams in my days when I was like in my teenage times or when I was getting in my early 20s, where it might have been a better option to have the ting on me.
Right.
Or if not, like, I've been in a situation where a lot of jams got shot up when I was a kid. So it didn't start just now. They've
Different
been getting shot up.
demographics.
Yes.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Now it's happening in communities that it never used to happen in.
Yeah. So like
Exactly.
pepper spray
That's
might be an option
fair.
if I want to go to the jam with my chain on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's always been a threat. Like for
But if you're gonna pull a pepper spray because someone's jacking you for your chain, they probably have something that's more potent on them.
I was just
and
thinking
I
that.
think that you
Most
pull out your
likely.
pepper spray, you're more likely to get shot.
Yes.
And that's a reality. If you're doing it because someone's trying to steal your chain.
Well,
and so
hence
we're
the
gonna end up
option.
in
Where people go and say, well, then I may as well go get the gun instead.
Again, I'm not endorsing that. Oh my God. The Law Society is going to be sending me a letter this week. I can feel it. I
She's
am
endorsing
not-
you to put insurance on your chain. So you can
I
do it.
endorse everybody to go get legal firearms and be properly licensed if you're going to have a gun and keep it properly. That's the extent of what I can endorse.
Yeah, and the thing is, with our country, you can't even like.
You're going to cost me my law.
No, we pardon, right? But like, even in our country, you can't even get a gun and say, okay, let me make sure I have it on me on road in case anything happens. Like, it has to be in your home, stored in the correct area, or you're
unless
fucked.
you're going to the range. Yeah,
exactly. So it's like we don't have the kind of the laws like in certain states where if somebody hits me up in traffic and tries to rob me, I defended myself. You just have to just give it up.
It's a lose-lose. It's almost like, because I think for us, like, let's say you're walking with your girlfriend or like a family member, like you're almost like assuming like someone probably has a gun around here. Like, and let me at least like equip myself for the option of self-defense. But like, what's a knife going to do against the gun? What's pepper spray even going to do against the gun? But it's kind of like, it's unfair for people who aren't going that illegal possession route, because like now you're walking with your girl, you want to protect your girlfriend, but like you can't have it on you.
Yeah.
But next man's might try you. They might have it on you, like
illegally
on them.
I don't know. I always try to think of loopholes and stuff. You say you could have it on roads if you're on the way to the range.
Yes.
Okay, like, let's say if someone was planning to bring their gun on them on the road, like not to
But
use
when you
it.
say on them, like it has to be locked in the trunk, unloaded.
Yeah,
so you still can't use, even if I'm driving to the gun range.
Yeah.
My guns have to be in my trunk. They have to be unloaded. They have to be like properly secured. If I'm driving to the range and I got my gun on me, like I still can't use it to defend myself. I can't be like, hold on a second, wait, I gotta go to the trunk and I gotta like gear up,
load up.
But let's say you were able to like go to the trunk and get it.
There's no world in which that's happening.
But like, let's say there are some John Wick shit, like just hypothetically.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
sliding across the hood.
I'm like in the Matrix.
Because like these Y-heads, they be fumbling and stuff. You know what I mean? So you had enough time to go to the trunk.
If I have enough time to go to the trunk, I have enough time to drive away. And I'm driving over whoever's trying to jack
And that's
me.
what the Crown is going to try to argue?
But that's the reality of like what I would do, right? Like, I don't want to have to shoot somebody.
Yeah.
So if I'm in my car and someone's fumbling with their gun, I'm just going to drive my car into them. And good luck. I drive a G-Wagon.
Hold on. You can get charged with assault though for the car.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'll take that to a jury anytime. I'm being carjacked by someone with a gun.
Yeah.
And I drive off.
Ran them over. Yeah.
Like
Equal force.
I'm using just enough force that I need to get away, and I'm trying to get away. Right? Compare that to he fumbled for the gun, so I went to my trunk and I loaded my gun, and then I came and shot him.
Okay,
that's an ugly look.
Can we play out that scenario?
Sure.
If that was to happen, right?
Yes.
You actually get to the gun, John Wick shit, whatever, cool.
Yep.
Boom, you get them.
Yep.
They even let off a shot, they missed, and you hit them.
Right.
Okay. What is the threat neutralized? Now you get charged.
Yes.
Because you let off a firearm in public, all that type of stuff.
You could defend that.
Can you defend that? That's the good thing.
Sure, you can run a self-defense argument and say, I felt like my life was at risk, and it probably was in that circumstance.
Yes.
And the Crown is going to say to you, well, why didn't you just leave? You are only to use as much force as is necessary to defend yourself. So how is that necessary? How did you need to shoot him as opposed to drive away
My car
once he
stopped.
fumbled for the gun? And then ultimately it's, and then ultimately, but your gun didn't jam. I don't know.
I watched Better Call Saul. I watched too much of these movies.
So
TV
there's always a defense. Is it going to be believed? In that circumstance, there probably isn't anything else to argue. So are you going to run it? Yes. You're going to see what the judge and or jury decides. Ultimately, again, I wish I had a crystal ball. I'd be on a beach in the Cayman Islands. But that's what you would run. But the reality is the Crown is going to argue you had other options and other viable options that you should have pursued.
I think this kind of brings us to where this is where my brain is going, because the home invasion thing was the one thing that he was saying good that he shot them, or that the homeowner shot them.
And should have shot him some more.
That's what he said too?
Yeah.
Ford is going crazy. But I feel like this conversation that we're having here kind of extended to beyond the home. You know what I mean? Like, again, I'll mention these different states like Florida and different places where it's like it goes beyond defending yourself in your home. You could defend yourself on the road. Can we handle that? I won't say the whole of Canada. Let's even keep it regional. Like in Ontario, you think we can handle that? Like open carry or concealed carry type of thing going on out here?
I mean, we're not even close to that, right? The federal government has still got their stupid buyback program in effect.
Facts.
The Supreme Court of Canada has just allowed for the Canadian Coalition of Firearms Rights lawsuit against the government to go to the Supreme Court of Canada. So that's still an open case. And, God willing, they're successful at the Supreme Court of Canada. They'll roll back this buyback that's doing nothing, as we all know, to get guns off the street.
Right.
It's not the legal gun owners. So I don't know what's going to be in that regard, but that's still the current state of affairs here in Canada. So we're so far removed from open carry or closed carry that I don't even think it's like a viable conversation at this stage.
Yeah.
What we do know is that we do have a lot of legal gun owners with their guns properly stored at home who are becoming the victims or the potential victims of home invasions. And so what Doug Ford is saying in Ontario is, go ahead, defend yourself in your home. And that's sort of the extent of it. He's not taking that further. And, it would take a lot, I think, for the federal government to not only just roll back their current buyback and their prohibition of what was legal guns, but also to extend it to either closed or open carry.
Yeah, and I think too many people are getting carjacked. Maybe they need to get
shot.
A few shootings in those carjackings, and then they might reconsider.
No, I was gonna say, I'll entertain your hypothetical. I think it would benefit, especially Toronto. I feel like because legal gun owners aren't able to protect themselves unless if it's like a very specific circumstance, people are able to like run wild on them.
And they are.
But like if there was some sort of like immediate repercussion, like if you go to carjack somebody and they could potentially have it as well, I think that would definitely deter.
You're going to reconsider.
It's going to be interesting, yeah, especially because, these kids that are actually doing the home invasions are so far down the food chain, they're not getting much out of it, right? They're earning their stripes, they're getting a few $1,000s. Like they're not, they're not really making enough. You're going to think twice, like, is it worth it knowing that the homeowners are allowed to shoot me?
Exactly.
Like that's a whole different consideration that they don't have right now.
I'm down for more. I'm down for the homeowner, grandma that you see that you think you could just go take her purse. She might turn around and just hit you with the blammy. So like now you have to think, you know what? She might have it on her. This lady who's walking in the middle of the night that I'm thinking I'm just going to go run up on, she might have it on her. Let me think twice, right? Because right now, there's no thought of that.
No. At all.
You know what I'm saying?
And
at all.
I know equality isn't necessarily achievable, but I think that is the strongest way to create an even playing field or an equal playing field. If everyone was able to legally own a firearms, then, but I think it would open up new problems as well. Pandora's
box right there. Last thing I'll say on that, because I'll just tell you guys a quick story. I was in Florida years ago, like early 2000s, right? I'm driving with my homeboy's niece. And we're on the highway. I'm driving. And somebody kind of cut me off. And I started honking. And she was like, yo, chill. You're not in Toronto. Right? Like, shit can happen out here.
Facts.
That guy might follow you and pull out a gun on you. You know what I'm saying? So she had the mentality, like, act right. Because everybody has it on them. So from there, I saw that and I was like, at the time, I was kind of like, oh, that's fucked up. But now in my, in 2026, I'm like, that ain't so bad. Because everybody just is under manners now. Because they know just any and everybody can have it. Like,
Facts.
don't just cut me off in traffic and just think it's going to be okay and all those different things. You know what I'm saying? Don't just run upon me when I'm coming out the grocery store. Like, everybody has the equalizer.
Yeah, you probably don't even want to mess with the miskins because they could actually have it and actually use it legally
And yes.
and get away with it, like
Yes, this is why the baby shot somebody when they were coming into his house and then called the police.
yeah, come get him.
Come get him. He's
in the
leaking
back.
on my lawn.
Well, have you seen the videos from the sheriff in Florida that thanks the community when someone gets shot, when a home invader gets shot, a carjacker gets shot? That's part of like their press release.
Yeah.
It's like, we just want to thank you
Yeah.
for doing this service to the community that the taxpayers now no longer have to, pay to like put him through a trial and or
Yeah.
house him.
Making their job easier.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It makes it forces accountability because now your fellow citizen is able to kind of hold you accountable. If you're trying to run up on them, now they can kind of take justice into their own hands as opposed to like just being dependent on the police force to like handle it.
I'm not even looking at the justice part. I'm looking at the defense part. Like, the person who's a criminal is not going around the law to go get their gun. Right? So they're going to come and rob me and I'm not allowed to have one to defend myself. Like, I have to be in my house to be able to do so. Nah, that's not enough for me. It's not enough for me.
We
Thanks
love
for
hip
watching.
hop.
If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to check out these other videos on the screen and make sure to like and subscribe.
We love hip hop.